friends. I'm your host, Erin Port, and welcome to the Simple Purposeful Living podcast. Life can be overwhelming and busy, so once a week, I invite you to join me, and together we will make simple tweaks to uncomplicate the hard parts of our life so we can spend more time doing what we love. Hey friend, welcome back to the Simple Purposeful Living podcast. As I mentioned last week, this season is just full. Last week, I shared with you how to plan for a busy season so that you don't burn out. And this week, we're going to be talking about how to feed your family in a busy season. I have 10 tiny tweaks that help. Because for some reason, my family still expects to eat dinner, even though there are a million moving parts. We are not always together the way I would like, and the last thing I have the bandwidth for is an elaborate meal and looking in the kitchen cabinets and the fridge at 5 p.m. and saying, "What's for dinner?" Sound familiar? Here is the thing I want you to hear before we dive in. Not every day has to be a home run. Some seasons and some meals just have to be a base hit. It still moves the game forward, but we don't have to hit it out of the park. And this episode is not about doing meals better. It is about making them easier. So if you came here for permission to lower the bar, consider this your permission slip. It doesn't have to be forever, just for this short season. So let's dive in and talk about some tweaks that actually work for simplifying meals and feeding your family in busy seasons. Tweak number 1, stop thinking in terms of full meals. I'm not sure if it's social media or the way we were raised, but a lot of us have this idea in our heads that we have to lay out a full spread for dinner every night. Like there needs to be a main dish and sides, and it needs to be hot, and it needs to be, an actual meal. And I'm putting that in quotation marks. And that pressure is completely self-imposed. I want us to take a deep breath because it was one night I threw together some grilled chicken, some veggies, like a veggie box. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, some fresh fruit, and some bread. And I laid it all out on the counter, and my family devoured it. And I thought, nobody said, "Where's the hot side?" or the potatoes. Nobody noticed it wasn't elaborate. They all ate happily, which let's just say that was a win in and of itself. And we moved on with our evening. So here's the framework I come back to in busy seasons. A protein, a carb, and then fresh fruit and veggies. That's it. A piece of grilled meat, some sourdough bread. My kids especially love these Aldi sourdough bread because I haven't mastered making sourdough on my own. It's too complicated. I haven't found a tiny tweak for that. And then I have fresh fruit and veggies that we keep on hand. And snack plates absolutely count too. A bowl of pasta with rotisserie chicken pulled on top counts. A bagged salad kit with rotisserie chicken wrapped in a tortilla counts as a wrap. It does not have to be fancy to feed your family. And once I really let myself believe that, dinner got so much easier. One of the most popular things I hear from you week after week is that you hear me in your head saying, it doesn't have to be fancy to feed your family. So if you hear anything on this podcast today, I want that to be it. We are allowed to lower the bar, let it be a base hit, and call it good. All right, tweak number 2. I have a fresh veggie box and I keep fresh fruit on hand. Okay, this one is so simple, but those are my go-to sides. People always ask me when I write down my meal plan and share it with you every week, they're like, "But what about the sides?" And I say, most nights we will have fresh fruit and fresh veggies. Now, my family loves fresh vegetables. That's their preferred way to eat it. They don't like frozen vegetables. They don't like steamed vegetables. The close second is roasted veggies, either in the air fryer or in a really hot 450-degree oven made, and then I put a little bacon and onions with them. But most of the time, I just keep a fresh veggie box, and I just rotate the veggies. My fresh veggie box, I got it at Walmart for like $8. It's nothing fancy, but it has 4 compartments, and it just is the right size where we can eat everything, clean it out every couple of days, and then put new in so that it doesn't get soggy. You know, I don't like how cucumbers get a little slimy, or carrots even, if you will. So this is just the right size for our family. But I'll rotate between things like cucumbers, carrots, colored peppers. My family doesn't like green peppers, but they like colored peppers. Sometimes you have to figure those things out. We like celery, snap peas, broccoli, little tiny tomatoes. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll even switch up the type of veggie. So, like instead of carrot, the little mini carrots that you can get, I'll get carrot sticks or carrot chips. Or my kids' current favorite is the colored carrots. They used to only sell them at Trader Joe's, but now Costco sells them and they love them. And so even just switching up that is helpful. Going from cherry tomatoes to grape tomatoes to mini cucumbers to the big cucumbers, red peppers to yellow peppers. It just keeps it fresh and lively. And sometimes my family will even ask for things. So, one way to make this even simpler with a veggie box, if your life is really full, like say you've got a full packed calendar and you're like, I don't even have time to prep the veggie box, buy yourself a veggie tray from Costco or the grocery store this week. You are allowed to make a tiny tweak for this week. It doesn't have to work for any other week, but sometimes we just need to phone it in and make it as simple as possible, right? You don't have to buy a veggie tray every week, but maybe this is the week that you need to do that. Or you need to buy the cut fruit because it's the easy button that you need this week, right? We are allowed to just do those things when we need to. And sometimes we just need the permission or the reminder. I forget about that. Like, oh, they do have veggie trays. I only think about those for parties. No, I could get one for my family for the week and put it out alongside my protein and my bread for dinner and call it good. The other thing about fruit is I always try to get a variety of perishabilities, and then we eat in order of perishability. So most weeks I'm getting raspberries and strawberries and grapes and apples and bananas, anything that's in cycle. Again, we kind of have our favorites that we rotate through. Oranges when those are in season, pears, peaches. But I just try to get a variety, and then we always eat them in the order that they'll go bad. So grapes and apples are usually the last things that we eat for the week because strawberries, raspberries, and those sorts of things, they just don't last as long. And then as the week goes on, we change that variety. And I always just slice them up, and it's crazy. Another trick when it comes to veggies and fruit is I put out the veggie box while I'm making dinner because inevitably somebody is always hungry, and that way they'll snack on the vegetables without even me asking. This works especially well for people that are like very resistant to veggies. You're not asking them to eat them. They're just available. If they're hungry, you can say, hey, I set out the veggie tray. If you're hungry, you could grab something. And it is amazing that when that's the only option before dinner, sometimes they'll snack on something they otherwise wouldn't. And then they figure it out on their own with their own will, right? A couple of weeks ago, we had Amy McCready on, and she said dinner time battles often are because they just want some autonomy in their life. Everything feels like it's out of their control for kids. Oftentimes, school's decided, bedtime's decided, meals are decided. And so there's a few areas where they can push back. So giving them some options where they get to kind of choose. That's what's great about the veggie box is there's 4 options. You just have to choose something out of the box, whatever you want. If it's carrots today and tomatoes tomorrow, that's great. Okay, so that's tweak number 2. One last vegetable that you might not think about vegetables that my family loves is pickles, especially the Aldi fresher pickles. They come in like a plastic container in the brine. They especially like the pickle chips. They're back with like the gourmet cheeses and dips. I always pick one of those up too. Those are great. And fun fact, they really help you stabilize your glucose as an adult. So I always try to eat a few pickles up front as well. But that's another easy side. I just pull out the container and they can have pickles with their dinner. So, all right, that's tweak number 2, thinking about fruits and veggies being fresh as sides. Super simple. Tweak number 3. I want you to think about having a grab and go snack zone. Okay, so this is related to the veggie box. You could do that as your snack zone, but set up a section in your pantry and your fridge for ready to grab snacks without them having to ask you. Maybe it's pre-washed fruit, veggies. We like to put string cheese, Greek yogurt, yogurt pouches, yogurt smoothies, pepperoni, and then in the pantry, I like to do beef sticks. And then, of course, we'll do a variety of other snacks like Cheez-Its and granola bars and protein bars. And what else did they pick? They always have a few suggestions when I go to Costco. And this is where I do the Costco basket hack that has gone viral on the internet. But basically, every month I go to Costco once and I get my snacks for this grab and go snack zone. And I lay 4 baskets out, and my little two, now my big two did it a while ago, but now my little two, they sort evenly the snacks into each basket. I'm like, this is real world math. You're gonna have to divide out, all the different snacks to make it as even as possible. I leave one snack basket down where they can access it, and then I put the other 3 snacks baskets on the top of my pantry shelf, and then I just rotate once a week. This helps them to ration it. My kids are in school right now, so they're really just grabbing a school snack and an after school snack. So we don't need a ton, but that really helps. And having it where they can grab it is key because the goal is to remove yourself as the bottleneck, right? Because you know what happens in a busy season. Someone is hungry, they come and find you, you're in the middle of something, and now you are stopping to get them a snack when they're perfectly capable of grabbing one themselves. So set up the zone with things that you feel comfortable with them eating for your family dynamics, and then you can let them help themselves. It is a tiny tweak with a big payoff. So set up that snack zone, tweak number 3 for busy seasons. They can grab them and go when they're on the road. Okay, another thing too I want you to think about for the snack zone is putting a baggie of snacks in your car just at the beginning of the season. Go do this now. Like pause the podcast and go do this now because you're in the car so often. This is going to save you from spending money at the vending, no, not the vending machine, the concession stand, having to stop at the gas station. It is so nice. Like sometimes my daughter will forget to take a snack and then I have to take her right from school to dance and she's like, oh, nuts, I forgot a snack. I'm like, hey, grab the snack bag out of my center console and grab something. And this is where I keep more non-perishable items like beef sticks, Cheez-Its, anything protein bars, anything that's got a little bit more density, but that can nourish them and is non-perishable. So pause the podcast and add up a snack zone, not only in your fridge, in your pantry, but also in your car. Okay, tweak number 4. This is a newer concept to me. It's called the bridge meal. I actually learned about this, and the minute I heard it, I thought, actually, we're already doing this. And this is the power of a tiny tweak. When I do workshops for tiny tweaks, I always tell people, you're probably maybe already doing some of these things unintentionally, but bringing awareness to why it matters and why it's helpful helps us now move forward intentionally. It's like, hey, this matters. Oh, okay, then I'm going to make sure I do it in the future. What I was doing by accident before becomes intentional now. And that's what's happened with the bridge meal. A bridge meal is essentially a small but hearty snack or mini meal that you give your family before an activity so they're not starving by the time dinner happens. This is really helpful. And many of you guys might have heard of this concept, like in different diets, like like mini meals throughout the day. It helps us to keep our blood sugar steady, helps everyone stay functional, the hangries away. And, because we all know that if you get too hangry, we all turn into different people that we just don't like, right? I realized I was doing this for Solon because he has track meets, and giving him even a protein bar before a track meet isn't going to be enough. So I've been sending him egg salad sandwiches. That's his thing. I think it started because track is always around Easter. I always have a plethora of hard-boiled eggs, but now he associates track meets with egg salad sandwiches. And so they keep him fueled and full a little bit longer, right? There's a little bit of a carb, a little bit of protein, a little bit heartier than a snack would be. Same with our girls. They have dance nights over dinner sometimes. And so feeding them like a charcuterie plate or a little Lunchable that they can have means that they can focus and do their best and they're not melting down by 7 p.m. when they get home and I'm trying to feed them dinner. So think about your family schedule this season. Where are there gaps between meals where you're not home over dinner, where you're going to be eating maybe at 7 o'clock? Could you make a little bit of a bridge meal, a charcuterie plate, a simple sandwich? You don't need a bajillion sides. Think of it as like a bridge between a meal and a snack, just something a little bit heartier. And could you even prep that in advance? Like I've gotten into the habit. I learned this from my friend, Catherine Martin, Tiny Tweaks. See, I'm finding tweaks all over the place. And I'm like, I'm going to try that for myself. But her husband makes chicken salad, like a whole batch of it, and just puts it in the fridge for the week. That way people can have it for lunches. They can have it for these bridge meals. and it's just ready and on hand. So think about that. Could you make some egg salad in advance? Some chicken salad? Could you have some lunch meat so that you can slap together a quick sandwich that just helps them stay full until true dinner time? Because I don't know about you, my kids come home, they have school lunch. Sometimes they're starving and ravenous and need a little bit of a bigger meal. And then maybe dinner can be a little bit smaller, right? That protein and those fresh fruits at the end at 7 p.m. Okay, tweak number 5. I know you guys are going to say, I don't have 15 minutes, but remember the 15-minute timer is so helpful, and you do have 15 minutes, okay? So set a 15-minute timer and grab a piece of paper and brainstorm meals that your family enjoys. I like to start with categories like slow cooker, Mexican, grilled, Italian, Asian, sandwiches, easy on the go meals, breakfast for dinner, and then jot a few meal ideas under each category. This is so helpful. What you end up with is a rotation that actually feels like yours, not something that you found on Pinterest that nobody in your family will eat. You can literally just look at this list and pick something from each category for each night of the week based on your activities. Decision fatigue around dinner is real, and this is the antidote. A few things to make sure that are on your list. Make sure you do a clean out the fridge meal, right? I like to do these on Sunday nights. I make a big meal for Sunday lunch. Sunday nights, I'm like, clean out all the leftovers. We call it bits and bobs or snack tray. Choose your own adventure, and the kids get to eat whatever they want. It's their favorite night of the week. Or one night of the week where you use what is there, right? Like, let's see what we can do. Leftovers. I always plan leftovers. I learned that from Scott's grandmother. She called them planned overs. So plan on leftovers, and always include your planned B meals. We're going to talk about that. That's my next week. But I have a free printable in the show notes with meal idea categories, meal rotations. You can print that off and then add your own ideas to that list as well to kind of get your juices flowing. But I did this. I learned this from Melissa Griffiths at Bless This Mess blog. And I took 15 minutes and I ended up coming up with 62 meals for my family. 62 meals. I cook on average 5 to 6 meals a week. That's over 2 months worth of food options for my family that we wouldn't even have to repeat a meal, right? It is crazy. Setting a 15-minute timer and doing this is going to be so helpful because then you have the ideas in your back pocket. You're not having to reinvent the wheel in a busy season. So 15 minutes, do a meal brainstorm by categories, and then plug that into your meal plan for a simple meal rotation. Okay, next tweak is tweak number 6, your Plan B meals. Every family needs a Plan B meal menu, and I want you to actually write it down, not just have it in your head. Like, what are your Plan B meals? Because when you're tired and it's 6 o'clock and you forgot to pull out the chicken from the freezer, you need to say, okay, this is what we're going to have instead. Our Plan B meals include boxed macaroni and cheese, our faux Chick-fil-A sandwiches, which is just the Costco chicken patty, the Bear Chicken, or now they have the Kirkland brand, with brioche buns or any kind of sandwich bun you have. So easy. I just air fry them. Chicken nuggets and French fries from the freezer, and breakfast for dinner, right? We usually always have some sort of breakfast sausage or bacon in the freezer, and we have plenty of eggs. Again, toast or frozen pancakes, because we usually always have that. We usually make a big batch of pancakes on Saturdays for the kids to have for breakfast, so we can always warm those up as well. So those are our Plan B meals. I have those on hand so that when life gets crazy, not if, because we all know life gets crazy, we can pull that out and say, hey. And I talked about this on last week's podcast, but frozen pizza. I told you, my cousin said that was peak Sunday night meal quality, like having frozen pizza on Sunday nights. My husband's family did popcorn and a movie on Sunday nights. They can become beloved family traditions. So this is not a failure. This is simply your system is working for you, right? Because all of us have to have a Plan B. My friend Laura Vanderkam, time management expert, says we have to plan for the net. She talks about the circus analogy, right? Like the people get shot out of the cannon. Most of the time it works, but every once in a while there's a malfunction. So they have to practice for the net. They're not surprised about the net. They know the net, right? That's the same for us with Plan B meals. Know what your safety net is. with those Plan B meals and have them on hand. Okay, next tweak is bar style food. Okay, what I'm talking about here is a lot of people bring their food to the table, which is fine. But in a busy season when time is key, I have gotten into the habit of doing this all the time, but we lay it out on the counter. We put the hot stuff on top of the stove and we lay it all out, the veggie box, the fruit, the protein, the bread, the butter, all on my kitchen counter. People line up and go through. I have a dinner bell. Ding, 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 ding. We ring it. Kids go through. And then everybody sits down. It takes us about 5 minutes and we eat our dinner. We normally wait till everybody is seated and then we pray and eat as a family. Somebody else had the tweak that they pray when everybody comes up and then they go through the line. And once you've gone through the line, you can start to eat. It's up to you how that works, but I like both ideas. But bar style is so helpful because for a few reasons. It really helps in busy seasons with cleanup. You're just pulling out you're not putting it in dishes. You're just leaving it on the counter. It's closer to the fridge and the dishwasher usually, so people can just put things away. And it also helps with portion control for me. Like it's out of sight, out of mind. I find that if I put the food on the table, I'm more likely to take seconds. So that's another good reason. But I just think it's really easy. Plus, kids can put what they want on their plate the way they like it. I have a rule that you have to take a fruit and you have to take a veggie and then beyond that, it's up to them and they get to choose. And again, that choose your own adventure kind of gives them some autonomy, cuts down on the fights at dinner time because they get to choose their own adventure. It gives them some control. So bar style meals is tweak number 8. Tweak number 9 is cook once, eat twice. This is especially helpful in busy seasons. So if you're going to cook taco meat for tacos, rather than cooking 2 pounds of ground beef, cook 4 pounds. It's not that much more work, not that much, really not any more mess, but you put half in the freezer for a rainy day or that Plan B meal or future self will thank you kind of meal, and then you eat the other half. It is just so helpful. If you're going to cook a bunch of chicken for your chicken salad sandwiches this week, just cook a plethora in the slow cooker. That's my favorite way to cook it. I put like 10 chicken breasts in the slow cooker with a pat of butter and a little bit of water and just let it cook slow all day and then shred it at the end of the day. And I divide it into baggies and put it in the freezer. That way I have shredded chicken all ready to go. So just think about if I'm making something, can I make double, put half in the freezer and eat half now? And then the key is I always try to shop my freezer every week when I'm making that meal plan. Pull out your meal rotation list that you've made with that 15-minute timer. Look in your freezer and you've probably already got some easy meals that you can pull out for next week. Cook once, eat twice. It's a powerful way to meal prep without a lot of practice. I don't love the whole having to prep a million meals on Sunday. That's just not helpful for me, but this is super helpful meal prep. Okay, tweak number 10, the last one. And I think this might be the most important. As much as I would love to have everyone around the table every single night, like I did when they were little, right? 5:30 every night when my oldest was 5, 6, 7, 8. We ate dinner every single night. It was glorious and also chaotic because they were little, right? And they would barely stay in their seats. And now I just wish they were in their seats, but they're off doing things that they love, like track and dance. So it's not realistic for us to have dinner every single night. And I have had to give myself permission to let that be okay. That quantity and quality are 2 different things. So here's what we do instead. When whoever is home, we eat together. I try to pick a time when the most amount of people will be home. So we don't eat dinner at the same time every night. I communicate what time is dinner based on the majority being home. And we make the most of the family meals we do have every week. There are some. Are they all? No. But it goes back to that some is better than none situation. And so I just think, right, we just appreciate what we have. So even the ones that are just a few of us at the table, They count. Connection doesn't require a perfect dinner. It just requires showing up and enjoying the meals that we have together. Because as I said, some is better than none, friend. Okay, so let's go over the 10 tweaks that make dinners in a busy season a little bit easier. Number 1, stop thinking in full meals. Number 2, get yourself some fresh fruit and veggies and call that good with a side. Number 3, set up a grab-and-go snack zone in your fridge, your pantry, and don't forget to do it in your car as well. Number 4, the bridge meal. Think about, do I need to set up a bridge meal that would be helpful on a specific night for a specific kid or the whole family? Number 5, the 15-minute meal brainstorm. This is going to help you set up a meal rotation that actually works for your family and reduce that 5 p.m. dinner decision fatigue. Number 6, make sure you know what your plan B meals are. These are your safety net, right? Most days you're not going to need it, but on occasion you will, and so we want to plan for it. Number 8, try setting up bar-style meals where you just lay everything out on the counter and let everybody fill up their plate, maybe with some parameters. Number 9, what can you cook once so that you can eat twice, 3, or 4 times later? And number 10, remember to allow yourself the permission to redefine family dinner for this season. It's okay to remember past seasons fondly, but seasons change, and with that, flexibility and grace are required. So there you have it, some tiny tweaks for feeding your family in a busy season. I want you to know that it's okay to lower the bar. We don't need home runs every single night. Base hits work just fine. Stop thinking that it has to be elaborate to count. If this season feels hard, you're not doing it wrong. You're just in a full season. As I said last week, multiple emotions can exist at once. You can love your life, and it can still be a lot to manage. And full seasons require grace, flexibility, and a really good Plan B meal option. It doesn't have to be fancy to feed your family. It just has to happen, and you're doing it. Don't forget to grab the free meal idea printable in the show notes below. I actually have 2. One with 20 meal ideas to go in case you're looking for some more meal options to take with you to the ball field or the track meet or just in the car on the way to dance. And that's a great option. And I also have a 7-day meal rotation that you can use to kickstart your 15-minute meal rotation timer challenge. These will help you build your rotation and make it a little bit easier to get dinner on the table. And if this episode helped you, would you share it with a friend? I'm assuming that if it's helpful to you, it's probably going to be helpful to her. And we all could use a little bit of extra help from our friends in the trenches of a busy season. Maybe you can even talk about it together and get some ideas from one another. Like I said on this podcast, I learn from people all the time. Melissa Griffiths and Catherine Martin. All these people are sharing tweaks all the time, and we can learn from one another and make our life a little bit easier, one tweak at a time. All right, I'll see you next week, friends. If you liked this episode, it would mean so much if you'd share it with a friend or leave a quick rating and review so others can find our show. Until next time, you can find me at Simple Purposeful Living on Instagram and Facebook.